Last year, Furia won a single map in Stage 2. That map was against a now relegated Tier 2 team in 2G, and then 2G smashed them on the next two maps. However, this year, they are holding the Americas Trophy. They have won kickoff, beating a super team in MIBR on the way there. But it wasn't easy, and I don't think anyone really believed. There were jokes made about this roster before it even began. If you laugh, you go to the Furia rebuild, but I think we can all agree that they are the ones laughing now. In this video, we're going to look at how Furia proved literally everyone wrong in going worst to first in Americas. I want to hear what you guys think, though. I've heard people, including FNS, say they think this is the best Furia will ever be. So what do you guys think? Give me a prediction for how they'll do in Santiago stages 1 and 2. Comment it below and I'll make sure to read it. I'm very interested to hear what you have to say. Make sure to subscribe so I can hit 10K by my birthday in a month, and let's get into it. Furia won Pistol, but after that, MIBR have been on a tear, and it makes sense. This is what was supposed to happen. The super team was supposed to crush the underdogs. They did on Breeze here, and it was supposed to be just an easy split win for MIBR. But Furia are not going to go down without a fight. I think it's quite poetic, actually, that they started a comeback in this game, just showing everyone that they're wrong again. Now, I want to talk about Viper Orbs for a second. There are two standard Viper Orbs here to use as an attacker-sided Viper. One is this Ramp Orb, and then one is this Mid Orb that's thrown. Now, he threw a Mid Orb to deny vision here within the pit, but I think he should have thrown the ramp one. Obviously, with the benefit of hindsight, Koala Noob is opping ramps, and they end up having to use a smoke where the Viper Orb is. However, you're not going to go in this pit anyways, so I don't think even really a threat of this orb going up, because that's what it's used for. It's to deny information to the defenders, is that big of a deal. I think the ramp one would have worked out better, but we'll see. And I guess later, right, when they have to use the smoke where the orb would be. But Koala Noob here, the Prowler goes back, and I want to talk about him for a second, right? This is a guy who has had the perfect storm. Is my camera straight? I don't know. Anyways, this is the guy who has the perfect storm of a meta, right? He's a great Yoru player in a Yoru meta, and a great opper in a meta that is very, very conductive to opping after the initiator cooldown nerfs. Now, opping, judges, all that great stuff is a lot easier and more prevalent in the meta because it's harder to clear them off of angles. This is the perfect storm for him. Again, like, this is literally a King Neon situation, just not as immediately in your face. But once they end up going back towards B, right here, Furia already have the read because of this Prowler main. As you can see, it gets no tags. They immediately send EU towards B and have the op because they trust him so much on A solo. And again, they have to use the smoke where the ramp smoke would have been, the ramp orb, excuse me. Again, I should have used it, but it's whatever. They go back towards the B-bomb site here, pit in mid, and again, Furia had this read because of the op set up on A. He's just holding. He doesn't feel pressured. He's not in any dumb scenarios. All he's doing is holding and waiting for noise, waiting for pressure that's never going to come because they're on B, enabling them to stack the B site, and then once the execute actually happens, it ends up being a 2v2. Aspas was dinked down to 1 HP due to spam, and it ends up, after this, being a 2v2 with about 20 seconds left right here. But Koala Noob has an op, he's still retaking, and Nerve is on 1 HP. This has to be a huge play here from one of them, right? Aspas is one, yes, but it's going to be very difficult to get into this retake with Zekken being full HP and in a good position main. Unfortunately for Zekken, he is no longer at full HP or in a good position main, as he gets killed there by Nerve. Just great stuff there. I mean, if he doesn't get this kill, the round is over, and who knows what happens, because this split map was looking like a very, very one-sided MIBR victory. Apologies in advance. The UI just breaks. We get the pre-round UI the entire time this round. I don't know if this is better or worse than when EMEA just breaks their UI completely and didn't have it, but I'll explain what's going on regardless. MIBR have a choice to make for this ult. Give the greatest player of all time a Raze ult, or give Zekken as your ult to scout. Now, this decision is influenced by the fact that Koala Noob has an op, and in fact, you can't hear it, but he's firing off shots right now, as you see right there. They give the ult orb to Zekken so that he can Yoru ult, and the call ends up being, have Verno head over towards A, boop, 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 boop. There we go. Fake this over here with a Fade Prowler, use that utility, and then come back B to clear it with Zekken's ult. Now, this is important, because the fake works in keeping Koala here and Elim, who is currently 0-9. Yeah, I don't know why the broadcast keeps putting this up, I like sue them or something. I'm 0-9 and they have it on mid-round just to let them know. Anyways, both duelists are on the A bomb site here, and then they have them clear out B. Now, this right here is a really, really interesting decision because he doesn't have a TP. He is full committed to this, and they're full committed to the paranoia play that they're about to do. The issue is it doesn't work. He's not blind. Right here, EU is not blind. He sidestepped the paranoia. So now, Zekken on Yoru, which, again, some people have said is a, fix all of MIBR's problem button. It's not. I'm on record saying this. This is really good for them, but it's not going to fix everything. However, right here is one of those moments that it is really good to have Zekken on the Yoru because he's able to go. Mizuno gets the kill onto Artson, and then he gets the kill here onto EU. They have the bomb site. But that's not all. As you can see, there are already 2 members of Furia right here. They're going to be able to deny plant, as Nerve does right there. They're going to make this very difficult. But Koala Noob, I mentioned his insane opping before, gets the kill on Verno, and then everyone just flanks everyone. There's the flank there, and then the flanker gets flanked. It's great stuff. Beautiful split gameplay, and Koala Noob able to clutch it out for his team. Now, Furia have evened it up at 6-6, but to get the 6 to a 7, I've stuck one in every video for like the past 5. You guys should be like impressed. But to get this pistol round win, they have a really good strat called. See, they know Zekken is the only player with flashes on their team, meaning it's very unlikely he does the double TP buy you'll see some Yorus do. And indeed, he only does the solo TP buy. So they sit outside A and wait for when the gate crash would expire. And as you can see, Zekken takes it instead of letting it expire, but the same thing like would have happened if it had expired. This is what they wanted to accomplish. They didn't want to let him be in 2 places at once effectively with the TP. They wait and then they A-pop. Now at first it does not look good. I'm going to keep it a buck with you. It is not great when you instantly go to a 5v3, but Artson comes in, reinforces with that classic, makes it a 3v2, and then they just have a great job from there of understanding what they need to do in the post plant. As you can see here, EU plants safe, goes, okay, we don't have any lurks or anything. There's not going to be really a situation where planting open helps us more than it hurts us because having control is in MIBR's hands. And then as you can see here, Mizuno just ends up dying. Aspas ends up having to try and 1v2, doesn't do it. I'll let it play out here really quickly. Let's get a little 2x speed, maybe some Subway Surfers footage. Alright, no Subway Surfers, just 2x speed. But as you can see here, Aspas finds the pick, but then once Mizuno dies, that's pretty much all she wrote there. Great round from Furia. Mizuno, thank you. Now, Furia have a really, really strong bonus here. In fact, it's only Nerve that doesn't have a rifle. He's outside A main just holding this space in case they pivot back later, which, spoiler, they will. But they get this spam kill into Aspas, and it immediately switches up the game plan. They start heading towards B, and again, notice the gate crash time. They wait, they wait, they wait. They end up taking this space, but once the gate crash expires here, I think he actually takes the TP, then there's only one left. He sends it over to reinforce B, and then the calling from Artson is beautiful. I know Nerve was supposed to call for this team, but I think that Artson has done a phenomenal job here, right? No diss to Nerve or anything, but I don't think they would be in quite this position with him calling, or at the very least, it hasn't been proven that he could do that at the tier 1 level. Now, I want you to note this gate crash right here. Zekken ends up reinforcing A the entire time and stays here, right? Even after this kill on EU, he stays here. Then he doesn't take the TP, and once they pivot back A, he's given a chance, right? He's given a chance to anchor this bomb site to do something. I love this. Really high IQ play from Zekken. Again, he's a great player, even if MIBR are slowly falling down the ranks of kickoff. He's playing very, very, very well. It's a high IQ play, knowing they probably pivot back, and then he tries his best. There's not too much he can do here. The plant is just completely safe, so he has to just go for kills. He can't really deny the plant that effectively. He does get him off because the smoke wasn't down in that time, so he's a little worried that he might be able to swing. But now the smoke is down, Artson's able to plant, and at that point it comes down to Nerve has a Sheriff and a Bucky, so the site players need to do something. Or in this case, the Heaven player. By the way, I really don't understand why they didn't have Verno come up earlier. He's going to in like 10 seconds here. He starts to walk up, as you can see, like 10 seconds he gets up Heaven. I really feel like if you keep having Mizuno bait like this, then Verno can come up earlier and then get this kill. It could be a much different retake. Keep in mind, Nerve has a Sheriff and a Bucky instead of a rifle, but it doesn't just materialize that way. He comes a little late, and then it ends up being 9-6. Furia win the bonus round. I do also want to say a lot of this came down to the clutches from Furia. They won, and I'm not kidding, 6 of 7 clutches on split here, including moments that felt like, okay, this is where the super team of MIBR kicks in, right? Including, I think this round was the biggest one. Obviously, there was the whole Verno incident. If you watch the game, you know what I'm talking about. But I think this was the biggest one where it really felt like, okay, MIBR are just going to overpower you. This is a super team. This is a star-filled roster. This is their moment. But they didn't. Again, 6 out of 7 clutches is, and I'm not like trying to make a joke, it's absurd. Like, that much clutch potential on a team is insane, and it's very difficult to lose when your guys are all in form like that. As you can see here, Furia make it 11-8 after MIBR picked up 2 rounds. It's the last round, and Furia love these calls where they have everyone group outside one site and then fake a little bit of something towards the other site, come back, and then just wait out the gate crashes, right? I cannot wait. This might be a controversial opinion. I cannot wait until Yoru's gone, bro. I can't wait so that we can get some, I don't want to say necessarily better, but some different Valorant than this, which is you're literally forced to sit back and do nothing for 30, 40, 50 seconds while you wait out the things that make him literally be able to be anywhere at once. I cannot wait for a Euro nerf, but hopefully after the Masters event. I'm tired of nerfs before Masters events that change the meta and make us have bad Valorant. But I will also say, Furia have a problem with putting the spike in like the wrong spot with low time. For example, here, there are 3 people on site and bomb is heaven with about 20 seconds left. This has happened a couple of times. That one round, for example, where Zekin was the one solo anchoring that I showed you guys, they went like back and forth up here, rewind it, and then try and look at the minimap. They went like back and forth here and weren't sure. That is a bit of something that does worry me. Ass pass, for a second there, you think he's going to have an ass pass moment, but instead, Furia able to do it all. Verno tries his absolute best, but a stinger is just a stinger, and Furia will be moving on. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.